Everyone, Pat here again. Been a while since I did a video. I actually started on a project here and I thought, why not share it with everyone? I think it's going to be a pretty cool one. Hopefully it'll turn out all right. What I'm doing is I actually have, I think 6 of these bins here. They're about 18.5 inches tall, about 15 inches wide. I had them up on a back wall and I've just been remodeling, rearranging some things here in the garage. Had to find a different spot for it, so the last week or so they've just been sitting on the floor, and I am trying to figure out what I'm going to do with them. What I've decided to do, I am going to build a rolling hardware storage system. On the ends, on each end, there's going to be 3 on top of each other, and then that'll allow in the middle to store things, which I actually have bins. They're smaller bins. I'll show you them in a little bit. And I should be able to put a bunch of those bins in the middle. And now this will be able to be pushed off to the side into the corner, and as I need things, I should be able to access it pretty easily. Everything that I have made for my benches in my garage, it has been out of these furniture movers. So they're all the same size as far as depth, width, everything. It's really nice. You can rearrange super easy. If you want to use a tool, you can slide it out. For instance, right now, this is an exception as far as size, but this is actually built on furniture movers as well. And it's nice because now when I don't have any vehicles in the garage, I can come over to this side. I can just slide my tools over, work on it. Works out pretty well. So anyway, what I started to do, as you can see, I have, these are 15-inch 2x4s, and those I've screwed in from the bottom. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run 65-inch 2x4s up. And then that's going to be the outer framing on the ends for the bins. And then we're going to add sections across the middle for shelves and, for those other bins and stuff. And then also just to sturdy everything up. For this project, one of these furniture movers, which I believe is like, I think approximately just under 18 inches wide by about 30 inches long. And I don't know, they might be, I think I got mine on sale for like 10 bucks. They might be 15, 20 bucks regular price. I also bought 6 2x4s and 2 2x2s. I bought just some regular construction screws here, drywall screws, 2.5 inch. They were pretty inexpensive compared to the screws that I usually use for this project. It didn't have anything special. And then, let's see, about the only other thing that you would probably need is maybe something for the shelving. I actually have some scrap plywood, different 1x and stuff that I'm going to be using for it. But anyway, stick around. We will get to work on this and see how it comes out. All right, so what I did, you can see, I just took the 15-inch pieces just like this size. I cut them, and I took my 65s and screwed them in. You can see at the top, but not the bottom. I already fastened that one on there, so now what we're going to do, we are going to put this one on this side, and I gotta get around the garage door opener there. The other thing you'll notice here is if you can see it, I have only screwed one in on each to hold it. These ones here are not screwed in yet. Reason being is we want to make sure before we do that everything is square, and we will make sure everything is square before we put those final screws in. This right here, this 2x4 apparently wasn't the best, and it was cracked a little bit, so I was a little concerned with that. So the other thing that I did is I drilled pilot holes on these ones just to make sure that they don't crack when we put them in. So the next step here, after we get the framing done on the body there, we're going to make the shelves that are going to go across, that are going to hold the bins, the big bins, and then the small totes that are going to go on the inside. So I wanted to make sure that they were strong. We're going to build them out of 2x4s, but the ends, you could use 2x4s and then just, you know, drilled some holes or used super long screws, but we're just going to use 2x2s on the ends to screw those in. I did pre-drill holes. 2x2s will split a lot easier. And what we're going to do, you can see it, we're just going to have two 2x4s lengthwise and then the 2x2s going the width. The width I didn't mention. I said 15 inches on those. Actually cut, the 15s actually cut a little bit longer. I think I just did like a 16th, just to make sure that the bins aren't too tight, but yet we can, you know, they're not too loose either where they're going to be slopping around. And we will be securing them as well. But so anyway, just a little over 15. And then the length of this came out at like 29 5/8. So what I did then is I cut these at 26 5/8 to make up for the extra 3 inches for the 2x2s. I'm going to screw those in here. And the 2x2s are a little bit thinner than the 2x4s, and I want them to be flush on top. So I can either hold them up to the top or I can flush them on the bottom and then just flip it over, which is what I'm going to do because that'll be much easier. So what we did, we measured up 19 inches from the top of this 2x4. We did that because the bin is 18 and a half. Just want to give a little extra room right there. We are going to take one of these. We're going to push this in here. It should fit pretty good. Cut it where it's almost exactly what it needs to be. All right, perfect. Actually holds by itself here. What we're going to do, we are going to pre-drill 2 on each one of these and run screws in to there. We have 3 of these. Next one's going to go up, I believe, 19 3/4 to allow for the extra room on top of here. We are going to actually probably use 1 by either plywood with 3/4 inch plywood or 1 by pieces which are 3/4 of an inch. And so that next one's going to be here, and then we're going to actually replace, I put those 15 inch 2x4s on the top. We're going to replace that. We're just going to use this same thing up on the top there. So we have a nice sturdy top that we can throw a shelf on top and use for whatever we need. Project I do, I like to stop as I'm doing it and just kind of see how things are going to fit before I finalize things. That way if I do need to make any adjustments, it's not too late. These are the bins I was talking about. They're literally $1 each. And you can see I'm going to be able to put 4 in each stack, which is actually going to be really nice. I did end up making this one a little taller just to make sure these ones that are a little taller, or if I do have another bin, little tote that sits a little taller that I can maybe use for this. But anyway, I'm going to be able to put 8 on each shelf. So it's going to give me plenty, 24 that I can throw into this right here. It's going to free up a lot of space that I have in my workshop right now. Now this right here is how the bin is sitting. One thing I'm going to try to decide how I want it to sit is if it's going to sit flush like that or if I'm going to have it come out. Nice thing with having it come out is then I can just run something straight across behind here to bolt this into or screw this into. I don't necessarily need to. I might be able to get a 3rd row here, a 3rd pile or stack of these bins, but I don't necessarily need it. So I think what I'm going to do, I do like the thought of these being flush here. I think what I'm going to do then is I am just going to take 2x4s, cut them the same width as this, put one right here that I'm going to screw down in, and then put one right here that I'll screw up from the bottom, and or maybe even 2x2s down here. But you can, if you can see it, I'm not sure, but there's little holes here, so I can take the little bin things out of the holder here, and I can run screws in to that 2x4, which will be nice because then I don't have to worry about this thing bouncing, falling over, anything like that. So I think the next step is going to be putting some shelves down and on top of these frames, and then putting that 2x2 right here, and then drop a 2x4 down right here and get those bolted. So here we have the finished product. I'm just going to show you how I fastened this if you look in the tops of these, I took out the little drawers, and in each corner there is a spot that you can screw in to fasten it. And what I did there to have something to fasten it to is I put 2x4s on each one at the top. I just used long screws, pre-drilled, ran through, of course, measured out to where it needed to be so that these could be flush with the front. And then the other thing that I did is in the bottom, right in the middle, I just drilled a hole and ran a screw through there just so that the bottom doesn't move around at all. So it's pretty sturdy when this thing slides around. As far as the shelves go, after I had them in, the top shelves, I just used scraps that I had laying around. This is just from probably an old desktop. These were from, I believe it was probably a dresser drawer that I had taken apart. And then these were the old top from the workbench that I had used, because I had a workbench that was sitting on top of this furniture mover, and that's the top that was on there. And so, and you can use pretty much anything that you need to make that shelf. So if I had to rate this project, I would say it's one of my favorite ones. It's pretty slick. I'm excited that I can move it around wherever I need it to be, keep it out of the way, be able to take it out if I need to get to something. It should be pretty accessible where it's going to be. I should be able to get to both sides, but it doesn't have to be. If I have workbenches that are this height up to the sides, I can still get to this top stuff. If I need to, it's easy to roll it out, spin it around. The only thing that I might do different is I might take out these 2x4s, because I just don't like the fact that they took away the height. There's just not enough room to go up because of them. So I might do something with some L brackets, or maybe something a little skinnier instead of the 2x4s. But anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope that you like the project and gets you thinking about what you can do next. Until next time, thanks a lot.